back to it. This is the Now Morning Show, your Friday edition. And we were telling you before of some of the things that you should look out for on your calendar of events. And usually in August, we look forward to Emancipation. That process or that celebration is so grand that we now will be talking pre-emancipation celebrations with my next guest, who is none other than Dr. Asha Kabon, of the Emancipation Support Committee. So Dr. Kabon, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, my pleasure to be here.
We are honored to have you because the Emancipation Support Committee continues to be active throughout the year, has done quite a bit, and so we definitely need updates. The latest in this saga is the pre-celebrations, as we said, that involves not just the usual Emancipation Village and crafts being shown and our heritage being refreshed, I like to say, but also we'll be looking at some of the movers and shakers across the diaspora, like Mr. Kweme Toure, and some lectures that will be taking place are something that I'm actually looking forward to. So tell me more.
Okay, good. Actually, what happens is that we begin the emancipation process, as you mentioned, very early. In May 25th, we actually begin activities for emancipation. And one of the key pre-emancipation activities, so to speak, is the Kweme Toure Memorial Lecture Series. And that lecture series takes its name from our beloved Kweme Toure, otherwise known before that time as Stokely Carmichael. And Stokely is having a rebirth in America right now because people are recognizing that all the work he did in the South to help people get registered to become active citizens, to be able to participate in the American democracy, so to speak, that work has to be treasured because now, of course, it's being dwindled away from people. So, but we hear still people say, Kweme Toure, you know, we don't remember that Kweme was born on Oxford Street, you know, and grew up there. And when his parents migrated, he followed suit. And then, of course, was a brilliant young man, so went off to Howard University and so on, and the story continues. But we here celebrate his name because, you know, in the African tradition, we are called upon to remember our ancestors. So we do that by naming them. And so we name our lecture series after Kweme Toure. And this week coming right here on Sunday, I mean, we're going to have a discussion on Haiti because Haiti is so central to our, none of us would be here sitting chatting with each other if Haiti had not revolted. You know, if Toussaint Louverture and Dessalines and Christophe did not revamp Haiti. And so, in fact, this week is going to be we've been having a wonderful, by the way, lecture series. Last week, we were looking at monuments and public spaces, talking to a wonderfully elder out of Wales who was commissioned by her government, originally from Belize, and commissioned by the government of Wales to examine the whole arrangement of so-called monuments in Wales. And she leads that commission, an elder woman, Miss Legal is her name. We have Legals in Trinidad. So when she said she was from Belize, I said, I feel she's from Trinidad. Anyway, that's another story.
And quite possible. But again, lending itself to how we are all connected and how we need to continuously have these conversations. So these are happening virtually, in person. How are we doing?
They are happening virtually.
Okay.
I mean, we are respecting, and we have been respecting for the last 2 years, the Ministry of Health's protocols around COVID-19 because we have, of course, wanted to safeguard, make sure everyone is safe. And so these lecture series have been virtual. Very, very well received. This week, I was telling you, we're talking about Haiti. We've got a woman, Dr. Sabine Manigat. Some people may remember her dad. He was Professor Manigat, who taught at the University of the West Indies. And Sabine actually spent time in Trinidad and Tobago, but she resides in Haiti. She and her mother, her dad has passed. And she's going to give us kind of an update on the situation, which we know in Haiti is absolutely deteriorating because the powers that be removed some of the leaders, such as Aristide, and left people after they were engaged in the first democratic election in God knows how many years. So it is quite Oh, isn't she lucky? She's getting tea. You didn't see that. Yeah,
the lecture series.
so the lecture series this Sunday is going to be on Haiti. We have two brothers from Ghana who will be joining the conversation. We have a sister out of North America who actually uses dance and so to help people who have left Haiti sort of regain and compose and get their
Stay connected.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
And like I said, it's across the diaspora.
That's
and it
right.
also opens up the conversation of business and linkages that we will explore in the Transatlantic Business Development Roundtable discussion.
That's
yes?
right. So that's another component of the celebration. You know, it's a very multi-layered celebration. There's something there happening for almost everyone. And one of the centerpieces almost of our celebration has been over the last 20 years, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Symposium. This year, as you rightly said, we are holding a round table because African persons who are engaged in business, African entrepreneurs, both on the continent, in the Caribbean, in the diaspora, are re-examining, just as everyone else is, what can we do in these challenging moments? How do we keep our businesses afloat? How can we link with each other to make things better? The same way our own governments had to link with the consortium of people who were seeking to get the COVID vaccines, and it worked well when they were able to link with the African Union, when CARICOM was able to do that, to be able to receive the vaccines.
And all of this is going to lend itself to, of course, we're talking pre-emancipation celebration.
Yes.
So ultimately, the Emancipation Village being the culmination therein, where we are talking about coming home. Now, the hashtag says, "Come home for emancipation."
That's right.
And I wondered, well, for me, who's home already?
Yes.
How does that impact things? So where does this come from, and what does it mean to come home for emancipation?
Okay, we're actually partnered with the Trinidad Tourism Limited on this international campaign to come home for emancipation. There are a lot of people we know who've always come back home for emancipation. We've always had many guests. The last live celebration we held, which I can't even remember when. What was that, 2020? Before 19 or 20, before things shut down, probably 19. We had a very large contingent in from California. And they came to the celebration and so on. And we've also had, as part of the celebrations, on some occasions, I think almost every 2 years, a huge family reunion that come in from all parts of the diaspora to parade on the street with their family name and so on. So we thought, listen, it's a great idea to let people know that the Camboulet will be on the streets this year, that everyone is looking forward to them. So we began this campaign saying, "Come home for emancipation." And we've been lucky because we've had the support of Rembunction Studios. They've given us the voice, and when you hear it, it's being aired, an infomercial is being aired on CAL, it's being shown on the Passport,
Very
up the Caribbean.
As you're coming home.
You're coming home. And Sheldon Blackman lent us his music and voice, a wonderful song called Oshe Baba, which is Thank You, Father, for emancipation. And so we really do look forward to a really powerful this year, with the spirit.
Absolutely. And it's fitting. As you say, we are coming home. We are creating opportunities across the diaspora. We are reconnecting with our heritage. And we are doing all of this in anticipation or in lead up to the emancipation. So of course, we will be checking in with the Emancipation Support Committee for more updates on what we can expect and involve ourselves in. But until then, as we wrap things up, remind us of how we can connect with you. Numbers, emails,
yes. Okay, those who are interested in the Trade and Investment Symposium, or as we call it now, the Business Roundtable, Business Development Roundtable, you should go to our site. We have an email address, which is transatnet@gmail.com. Easy to find. The words trans at, which is for Atlantic, net, at gmail.com. And you have to, space is really a big premium this year. We're using a smaller location and we have to space people comfortably.
Right.
We're still managing the COVID protocols. So please reach out to us. We also have a telephone number, which I better find quickly, Asha, since I'm not, my brain doesn't work as it used to, 777-2210. People can reach out to us to discuss whether they can attend, and if they'd like to come, please do so. Then, of course, call the office 628-5008 because groups from across the country who want to participate in the Canboulay and who've not yet registered, we like you to register so that we know who's there. We can then give you the adequate representation that you deserve.
I love it. I'm looking forward to that representation happening pre-Emancipation celebrations. And so thank you very much to you, Dr. Asha Kambon, for joining us this morning, representing the Emancipation Support Committee and reminding us of what we can look forward to later this year. August, actually. Speaking of which, in terms of things that we can look forward to, we might just have a flag party. You guys stick around. The Now Morning Show takes a quick break and we return after these messages.
Majuba malo, erude, majuba malo.